Hello, my name is Dylan Kent, and I'll be giving this presentation on why nutrition classes are a necessity for the American people to fight against obesity. But before we decide how to fight against obesity, we must first address how big of an issue obesity is for Americans now. In this slide, we will talk about the mental and physical health effects that obesity has. Since almost a third of Americans are obese, the effects it has need to be considered. As many people know, obesity is a leading cause for heart disease, joint problems, and developing type 2 diabetes. But one thing most people don't know is that obesity is the second largest preventable cause of death, only behind smoking in the United States. As if it was not enough that obesity attacked Americans' physical health, a study done by P. Sunyer, a researcher in the field of obesity, showed an undeniable correlation between obesity and depression. The depression most likely forms because of how Americans tend to view obese individuals as unattractive, lazy, or even gross. Now that we see how horribly obesity directly affects an individual, it is time to look at how obesity may cost them. Being obese can cost an individual in both years of their life and from their wallets. According to the NLC, a group that works with the U.S. Department of Health, the estimated annual health care cost of obesity-related illness are a staggering $190.2 billion, or nearly 21% of annual medical spending in the United States. Just for reference, that is over a fourth of the annual expense of all of America's public schools. This expense is immense and crippling to family units that all suffer from obesity. But money may still not be the worst cost. Being obese will shorten one's lifespan as well. Many Americans are being robbed of years of their lives. Some studies show that obesity can take up to 1 or 7 years of an average person's lifespan away. As many of us know individuals that suffer from obesity, it is more than upsetting to think that our time with them may be cut short. Losing the chance to watch grandchildren grow up could be considered way worse than any medical bill. Now that we understand why American obesity is a real problem, it is time to try and find the most effective solution to fix this. One possible answer that can help contribute to the reducing of the number of Americans afflicted by obesity is to add nutritional courses to the public school curriculum. This idea has already been tested multiple times. According to Yun Kim and his research team, nutrition classes were found effective not only in teaching students basic nutritional information, but also getting the students to adapt their lifestyle to the healthier principles. One example that the team found that demonstrates this is when students were taught about sugars and sodas and foods, they were likely to switch from drinking sodas at lunch to drinking water instead. This demonstrates that children are capable of retaining nutritional information and that a push towards a healthier diet may be effective. Since it is evident that these classes are capable of teaching children, the only other question would be if these classes were affordable as well. Even though the answer should be apparent when comparing the price of school to the cost of medical problems due to obesity, there was still a group that decided to research that issue. The way this was tested was through the QALY system, a measurement system that compares the cost of a service or treatment to the result affects financial values. Matthew Grazios and the rest of the team that performed this study recorded that QALY suggests that a nutritional education curriculum in public schools is effective and cost-effective in reducing childhood obesity. With this information, it is safe to assume that nutritional courses are a plausible option to solving the obesity issue. Realizing that nutritional classes are just an option is not enough. It is important to recognize the efforts that have been made in the past to make sure that this will not be overshadowed by a previous accomplishment. One of the most well-known accomplishments in the fight against obesity was Michelle Obama's battle to provide schools with healthier lunches for students. This program forced schools to offer basic healthy options, such as a fruit with lunch or the removal of sugar-filled drinks from distribution. Luckily, this program could benefit greatly from a nutritional course. If children were taught to understand why their lunches were changed, or how they became healthier, these children are more likely to implement these changes into their daily life as well. There was also another famous achievement in the fight against obesity that goes unnoticed. That achievement is a nutrition label. Yet sadly, according to the CDC, most Americans are incapable of reading a nutritional label and getting the necessary information from it. Without basic knowledge such as how an average calorie expenditure for a person is roughly 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day, what use is the information about the calorie amounts on the label? Simply put, there is not much point into putting a label that no one is capable of reading. However, one of the skills that the CDC recommends to be placed in a nutritional class in the future would be to read and understand these labels. The CDC also recommends teaching the students about macro and micronutrients as well as calorie expenditure, so the students would know what to do with the information that they read. What this means is that by adding nutritional classes to the school curriculum, not only will America get the benefits of the class, but it will receive more benefits from the systems that were already put in place. Obesity has a clear effect on a large portion of Americans, and there needs to be steps taken to resolve the issue. The most effective way to go about this would be to create a nutritional class for children that is cost-effective and strengthens the efforts that were previously made in the past. A healthier future starts with understanding what healthier means. Thank you for watching my video. I hope that you enjoyed it and maybe even took something away from it.